Welcome to Homeschool is a Work of Heart. I'm Melissa Webb, and after years in the classroom and years homeschooling and supporting those in home education, and even more years creating curriculum for families like yours, I have learned this. Homeschooling isn't about perfection. It is about purpose. And this podcast is here to encourage you, to guide you, and to remind you that what you're doing truly matters. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Well, hey there, homeschoolers. I hope you are doing fantastic this week. I am as well. It's been a very busy time of the new year. I've been doing a ton of webinars. A lot of things right now are centering around upcoming state testing. And I thought, what a better week than this to talk about just that, state testing. I am for state testing, but I look at them a little differently than some people may see them. I look at them as something that we should do to measure, but not to pressure our kids. And I will tell you that most homeschool parents that I know are not anti-learning. They are anti-busy work. They are anti-one-size-fits-all. They are anti-labels. And I get that, and I agree with that. I am on the same page. But here is the part that I want us to think about more carefully, and that is, are we anti-state testing? Did you just yell at me? I kind of felt this resounding yes, maybe, but I hope not. And I love that you are here, tuning in and willing to listen to my opinion. I plan to be as persuasive as possible today, which, by the way, did you listen to the episode I recorded on the naysayers? Why we teach children to write multiple paragraph essays. I'll link it for you in the show notes. That one got a lot of listens, and I got some really positive feedback on just changing how we think about things. But this is a prime example. No, I'm not writing an essay, but I am planning to clearly share my opinion with you this week. And I want to back it with relevant details, information. I want to end with a clear call to action. These are the things we should do when we want to be persuasive. Now, as an adult, no, I do not write essays anymore, but I do write emails and I do webinars and I record podcasts, and I still go back to those concrete pieces that I need to include if I want to be persuasive. Now, just for fun, I typed up an introductory paragraph for this podcast, but this is not how I normally would set up a podcast. But I thought this could fit kind of perfectly for this moment in time. So I'm going to read it to you. And what I want you to do is listen for my hook. I used a quote hook. We always want to open with something that piques curiosity. I also had to provide a little background information. What am I talking about? State tests. What does that mean? And a good introduction should have a thesis statement. What is my main point? Briefly. And then you expand on it. But on this podcast, I'm clearly not usually so concise, but I thought it could be kind of fun just to see how the nuts and bolts of essay writing can be so valuable beyond just being a student in elementary school or middle school or high school. So I'm going to read to you what I wrote as an introductory paragraph. You ready? Let's go. Dylan William, an assessment expert, once said, "Assessment is not about proving what students know. Assessment is about improving what students can do." State tests, or standardized tests, are a widely accepted form of assessment in the United States. A standardized test is designed to be administered the same for everyone. Same directions, same time limits, same scoring rules, same expectations. The goal is consistency, so results can be compared across schools, across programs, and over the years. State testing is not the enemy. It's a tool. But when we treat it like an enemy, we miss out on what it can actually give us. Participating in state testing supports our charter schools, reveals gaps we might otherwise miss, and provides objective feedback year after year. Okay, so there you go. I read you my introductory paragraph. Do you see where I'm going there? And do you see how it's lining everything up so that your brain can compute the information that I'm giving it? It's orderly on purpose. Now, again, I'm talking in a podcast. It's not so structured, but I'm still going to cover those things. And this is the time of year when I always launch our test prep writing crash course, which is perfect for families, anybody who's wanting a refresh on the 3 core writing styles, or you're just looking for some quick wins. You just want to get some essays done quickly. We give feedback, so maybe you're just looking for some valuable feedback from somebody other than just yourself. We do that. I actually have families who are now back for their 3rd year in a row because they love this course. I change it up every year just a bit. You get access now and you get to keep it for the full year. So I just opened it for 2026, and until I revamp it in 2027, it's going to stay yours. So you could even come back and do a little summer writing practice or use it however you like. You can use it repeatedly. And so if it's something you need, I would love for you to check it out. But especially for things like the ELAPT, which stands for English Language Arts Performing Task. It's the written portion of a state test. It's where students need to read a prompt, read some articles for their research, and form a clear thought thesis, support it all in one sitting. And when it gets scored, the people who are scoring it, now I understand AI does a lot of the scoring, there are very specific things they're looking for. So when we can teach our children what those things are and what makes writing so strong, we're not only making them stronger writers, but they are also going to be stronger test takers. So it's something to keep in mind. I do believe that state tests are a helpful tool for everyone, but especially for homeschool families if we're using them intentionally and we're preparing for them wisely. So the first thing I believe is that showing up supports the schools that are supporting us. Most of the families who I work with, not all of them, but most of them are enrolled in public charter schools that are supporting homeschooling families, and they are amazing schools. They provide funding and resources. They give you all kinds of curriculum options. You have access to specialists. You have flexibility. I mean, these are things that families rely on to be successful in their homeschooling. So state testing is one of the ways these schools can demonstrate accountability and effectiveness back to the state. And that's important. So when homeschool families opt out in large numbers, that affects far more than test scores. It affects perception, and that can affect their funding. It honestly affects whether homeschool programs will continue to be supported at the level that families are currently enjoying them. It's important. So yes, showing up for testing is a small way to show that homeschool students are learning and growing and capable, and that the homeschool parents are doing what needs to be done, teaching them, especially in writing, where growth can not always be visible just on the surface. So this is not about proving ourselves to critics. It's not. There are a lot of critics of homeschooling out there, but we don't take the state test to prove ourselves to them. We already know that homeschooling is a viable and wonderful educational option. Taking the state test is about standing alongside the schools that stand with us. It's very important. The next thing I think is so important about state testing is that I've seen it reveal gaps that otherwise could be missed. So no matter how attentive you are as a parent, it's just hard to see every single academic blind spot. So tests can help with that, and they do not have to be seen as a verdict. No, they're just feedback. That is all. And that's just a thought change. We know that we can change our thoughts, easy peasy, rather than thinking, this is hard, this is confusing, this feels critical of me as a homeschool mom. Get rid of those thoughts are not serving you. Instead, say, this is just a test. It's a snapshot of one moment in time. It's a little bit of feedback. I mean, this is what I choose to believe, and I get to believe whatever I want to as well. You do, I do. That is the beautiful thing about free will or agency. Choose what you want to believe. Just make sure that it's serving you and your children. I believe that an ELA performance task, that specific test, can show whether a child is able to read the complex informational text they're giving, see if they're able to take notes and organize their ideas. Can they write a clear, supported response under some light pressure? That's not a random skill. That is a real life skill. So yes, if a weak spot shows up, great. It's not a failure. It's some clarity that we needed because now we know what to work on. And knowing what to work on is so much better than guessing. So parents who will use these tests as information rather than an identity statement, those parents using it for informational purposes only are going to help their kids build resilience and self-awareness. They're going to be able to get those results back and take a look at it, maybe share it with their kids. You don't have to share your test scores with your kids. You don't have to. I always did. And I would say something like, hey, honey, take a look. This is what you are strong in right now. This, and that. These are like your 3 strongest points. And see this one, and this one. These ones are the lower ones. So now we know what we're going to practice moving on. Like that's really good teaching. We're just using it as a measure stick, not a pressure stick. Then the other thing I have to say is that I really am a big fan of collecting data over time. I think that objective growth over time does build confidence in the teacher as well as the student. So one of the most encouraging things when I was a homeschool parent was seeing that growth in my boys over time. When I would do state tests as a teacher, I always wanted my class to do well. And I could even predict what some of those scores would be because I knew who was struggling and who was really striving in certain areas. But it felt different when I was a homeschool mom. It just did. I was a little more anxious about what I was going to see. But what I loved was that year after year, we watched those skills increase. It was very motivating, not just for my boys, they always loved that, but for me too, because it kind of answered that quiet question many of us parents carry. Do you know which one I'm talking about? That one that whispers, is what I'm doing actually working? Am I helping my kids? Am I hurting my kids? Right? Have you ever wondered these things? Yeah, me too. All good teachers do because good teachers want their students to learn and to retain all that they have been taught. And state tests can provide one consistent data point across years. Now, it's not the only data point. Hear me clearly. It's not the only thing that carries any weight, but it is a helpful one. And growth over time is far more meaningful than any single score on a random test given by a random teacher. Progress will tell a story. So it's really important. But I do get that not everyone is a fan. Absolutely. I understand that. I hear this a lot. I hear parents say, I just feel like testing boxes kids in. Okay. Or testing limits creativity, or Testing only reports on one day's effort. Or testing does not account for my child's individuality. Sure. I agree. I can see all of that. But you know what else I also agree with? I agree that avoiding tests does not preserve some kind of freedom, and avoiding kids in some way. In fact, I think we do more good as our kids' life teachers when we teach them how to walk into a testing situation with calmness, the skills they need, confidence. That's empowering. That is so empowering. Our kids can do hard things, and they should do hard things, and we should celebrate all the hard things that they do. So preparation is not about boxing kids in. We're preparing them for all kinds of things. We're giving them tools that they're going to use now, sure, and later. Learning to perform under some gentle pressure is a life skill. At some point, your kids are going to have to give a presentation, complete a college application, or test for a certification of some kind, or interview for a job. All of those things feel like pressure. And tests are a wonderful way. It's like this practice opportunity that we can give our kids for real world expectations, when in fact, nothing heavy is weighing on the other side. It's not like they're going to fail a course or be held back a grade. They're not. They're just a tool to measure, not to pressure. And again, this is thought work. So when your child says, I'm just so nervous about it, say, you know that the same feelings that create nervousness are the same that give us the feeling of excitement. Maybe, just maybe, you're a little excited to see how you perform on this writing assessment. But just know, sweetheart, however you do, I love you. It's fine. We're just going to see how you do. That's it. So are you on board? I hope so. If testing is going to be part of your homeschool journey through your charter school this spring, then the goal is not just to tolerate it. The goal is to use it well. And I want you to use it, of course, as you support your educational institutions, your schools for sure. And it's great for finding those areas that may need some improvement and for following your child's progress over time. All of that is great. But preparation is also key. And now is the time to prep. It's going to remove the fear. It's going to offer some clarity. It's going to help build some confidence in your kids. It's going to create success. And that is exactly why I created and continue to create every spring my test prep writing program. It's not to teach to the test, but to teach the skills that the test measures. Reading for meaning, organizing ideas, writing clearly, responding with evidence, quoting your sources. If your kiddos can do those things, the test just becomes a place to demonstrate their learning, not to dread it. And I love hearing when my students tell me how excited they are for the test day, when they're like, Mrs. Webb, I just wanted to let you know I'm so excited I get to do the writing portion today. They just want to beat their scores from the previous years. It's like a game for them. So if we don't put the pressure and we can teach them not to put the pressure on, wouldn't that be a success for everyone? I think it really would. And so if you want to support preparing your child in a calm, skill-building way, I would love to help you with that. I recorded an in-depth parent training this past week, and you may have that webinar recording for free. I will link it for you in the show notes. You can always reach out on the socials. I'm at Right On Web. You can ask me anything, and I really look forward to our partnership. Right on, my friends. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And hey, if you are feeling stretched thin and you would love some support with teaching writing, I offer programs designed to make that part of homeschooling easier and more enjoyable for both you and your child. I also have free resources on my website, so please be sure to check those things out and subscribe to the podcast. You do not have to do this alone. Right on.